Welcome to the Elevating Leaders series, where we go beyond the headlines and straight to the people who are redefining insurtech and business transformation. We've caught up with the visionaries and the pioneers that are currently driving the industry forward, bringing you exclusive insights, strategies, and stories you won't hear anywhere else. If you're ready to go deeper, this is your front row seat to the future of insurance. I'm Miguel Edwards, and this is 5 Minutes.
So Jackie, you mentioned that you run an MGA. And when we think about all of the action that's going on in the insurance industry, it really seems like the MGAs are stealing the show.
For sure.
So talk a little bit about that value proposition, and where is Insurance House kind of innovating in that space?
Sure. Well, our roots are E&S, and our founders founded the firm, John Jinks Jr., Mitch Quinn Jr. They founded the firm in 1964. So we're actually turning 60 at the end of this year. So we have a big celebration going on a little bit later for us, but pretty fun to be able to be a part of that throughout, for really I'm coming up on my 29th year with Insurance House, so I've been a big part of that for a long time. So just with those roots, and then I became very involved in the E&S industry from a leadership perspective. Was a board member for NAPSLO before we joined forces with AAMGA and to ultimately become WSIA. So I've been in it for a very long time. When I got in it, it was about a $3 billion industry, and last year it just crested $115 billion.
That's right.
So if you look at the AM Best special report, so I just look at what the opportunities were and what E&S was as an intermediary and what it's become. It used to be that we were, and we still are, we still provide an incredible mechanism for, for transitioning, either unique risk or high risk or, something that needs a lot of limits to it, to really leading the industry on innovation.
Yeah.
And intermediaries, we're some of the first people to see it. And so, because we're the ones who we're getting the submissions in from retail brokers, and everybody's always forming new businesses. So we sort of have become, sort of that market of innovators. Now, our industry, just because of where we've been in the value chain, behind the retail agent, further into the value chain, we haven't really been had a perceived need to be as innovative on technology and on automation and on data. And so that is changing so quickly and so rapidly, just because you can just look at this place and see all the exhibitors in the hall, and E&S and specialty is getting much more of a focus. And so now people are really starting to understand, wow, what do we need to do here? We're used to our normal ecosystems, which really, digital hasn't been a part of that. And everybody's been really now with velocity looking at what do we have to do there? What do we have to do with data? We capture more data than most of the carriers do, because they're catching it individually. We're catching it as aggregators. So now the advantage and the opportunity for us to take advantage of that with technology is front and center.
Let me ask you a question about that, because it fascinates me, the growth in E&S that you just cited. And is it the advancements in technology and I guess our use of data that is driving that growth, or is it something more? Is it a macro dynamic in the risk landscape? All of the above. So talk a little bit about what you think is driving that E&S growth.
I'd say technology is secondary to that.
Okay.
It's definitely what risks are coming down the pike, right? So it's environmental risk, it's climate, it's everything that's causing the types of storms that we're seeing. And I should have made a mention of this right off the bat, that our hearts go out to everybody that just got hit. Very, very hard. We actually are in those states, operating in those states, so we're a part of that. But it's really more of those types of things. It's obviously what's happening in cyber. I mean, just the attacks that you see left and right. More of that's coming, and so it's those types of things. And it's just a hard market. It's the hard market from what happened with COVID. I mean, inflation just really socked us all. And so, we're dealing with the outcome of that, but it's also the opportunity with data. People are getting really, really good with capturing data and, taking advantage of, really matching the risk with the rate and the terms and conditions.
Thank you for joining this episode of 5 Minutes. If you've enjoyed our discussion, we'd love for you to share it with anyone else you think might find it interesting. Also, please subscribe on whatever podcast platform you're listening on and hit that bell to stay on top of the game with our practical 5-minute episodes. We look forward to seeing you again next week.